So in the past 24 hours, something has absolutely blown up. Nickmercs came out. Nickmercs is a FaZe member, a FaZe clan member. If you're into video games, you'll probably really get into this story because I am and I did. So Nickmercs plays Call of Duty. That is his living. He's a streamer. He's very successful. Really cool dude. And he's been under fire in the past 24 hours and what a lot of companies or a lot of outlets are calling anti-LGBTQ tweets, or a tweet. And the tweet in question is on screen now. He replied, "They should leave little children alone. That's the real issue." In a response to that, Call of Duty decided to end all relationship, basically, with Nickmercs because of this wildly outlandish view of not trying to pressure children into the LGBTQ community. I know, I think all of us are just astounded at how disgusting this tweet is that Nickmercs made, except for the fact that it's completely normal and 99% of people agree with him. Just leave children alone. Stop trying to indoctrinate children. Like, what are you doing? All right, there's no purpose for this type of stuff, and he's not going overboard, right? And he replied to a tweet, "Who is this they, and what terrible acts is everyone afraid of? I think / hope the goal of most of them," and when he's putting them in quotations, he's not actually talking about people who are in the LGBTQ community, but rather this Puckett guy is talking directly on the topic of teachers being able to teach students about LGBTQ stuff and things of that nature, right? Which is a very hot debate, and it has been for a while, right? In California, teachers are going to be able to do basically whatever they want to your children, within bounds. But basically, they're going to have free reign. If your child says, "I feel like a girl," they're going to say, "Okay, well, we'll get you puberty blockers and don't tell your parents." At least that's my understanding of it. And so that is what this whole conversation is. This person, Puckett, is saying, he thinks it's a positive thing that they're trying to basically reduce child suicide. This is done through acceptance and removing the stigma of feeling or being different. As a dad, I'm struggling to see the harm. Gay doesn't equal pedo. And 100% right. I feel that gay does not equal pedo, and I understand where he's coming from as a father here, right? Because you want acceptance for your child, even if your child is different or whatever else. I see his point. I do not agree with it. I think that the family should handle it in this situation, as Nickmercs says, right? He says they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. And Nick came out and said, basically, or to kind of summarize what he said, is he's like, you should leave it to the family. I don't want a school talking to my child about this type of stuff. I'm not interested in that. It's not something that I would be happy with. So I would much rather you guys just not talk to my child about this, the alphabet community. Let me talk to my child about it. And, that is much more of a family thing as opposed to a government and school thing. And I totally agree with Nickmercs, and you got to keep in mind here, the thing that he said is in no way, shape, or form extremist. It is the view of 99.9% of people. Obviously the very loud majority, the blue-haired weirdos on Twitter, are losing their minds over this. As you would expect, they lose their minds over everything. They tweet hundreds of times a day, have no money, and, support nothing actually, but they'll verbally support you on Twitter, or, verbally abuse you on Twitter if you agree or disagree, respectively. The fallout from this is Nickmercs had an operator bundle. An operator is basically a character that you can play as in Call of Duty, and it came out just recently. I believe May 31st was when it came out, so just a couple of days ago, and Activision Blizzard, which is a shit company, came out and basically said, "Oh yeah, no, we're all for Pride and this super anti-LGBTQ tweet that is not woke at all. It's not woke enough for us. We have to make distance from Nickmercs. So we're going to take that down. We deny any affiliation with the horrible thing that he said, which is that they should not try to push gayness on children, by the way, and leave kids alone." This has caused some outrage of a lot of people. One of the largest streamers in the world, Dr. Disrespect, if you're familiar with him, has come out and said, "I'm uninstalling Call of Duty until they either apologize to Nickmercs or reinstate his operator bundle in the game so that he can continue to make money through Call of Duty. COD players uninstall over Nickmercs controversy as hashtag I stand with Nickmercs trends. I love this. This is the gaming community, a very loving community of people who support other people, and just great people coming out and just saying like, hey man, like if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna try and do this man wrong, then I can't stand for it. I may love playing your game, but I'm not here for the hate that you're gonna try and push on Nickmercs for trying to be a proper parent to his child, and spread a very uncontroversial opinion that you shouldn't push LGBTQ shit on children. It's pretty ridiculous that it's gotten this far, but things are blowing up over this. It is trending on Twitter. It is one of the #1 news topics of the day right now. It is continuing to get bigger. Nickmercs has already spoke out about it, and things are going to continue down this path. My assumption is that Activision Blizzard, being the shit company that they are, they will eventually, probably pretty quickly too, come out and say sorry, and that it's not a controversial opinion, but they're going to say it in a way that makes them look like the victim, because, it's Activision Blizzard. And keep in mind, if you do want to stand with Nickmercs on this, you just have to keep in mind that it is Activision and Blizzard games that you would want to essentially boycott or not play. So that would be games like Overwatch 2, Destiny, Call of Duty, obviously, since that's the whole topic of this, World of Warcraft, Diablo 4, and things like that. Personally, I do not see a massive boycott happening over this. I think that this is going to wrap up really quickly, because the statement made by Nickmercs is so incredibly tame, and what an actual responsible parent would do. That parents themselves, whose kids play Call of Duty, are coming out and saying, yeah, no, we stand with Nick, so our children aren't going to play your games anymore because of this reason. And so you have, like the title says here, you have tons of people installing players because Nickmercs is in the right and Activision Blizzard is in the wrong. They're just trying to basically denounce everything since it's June. They're like, well, no, we want to be prideful of Pride Month, and we want to make that bank, but naturally when you go woke, you do in fact go broke. So this may go someplace, this may continue for a little while, but personally I think it's going to take care of itself pretty quickly, just because Activision Blizzard loves money above all else. If you need proof of that, I highly suggest that you play any of their video games, because all of them are covered in microtransaction, in-game transactions, buy skins from us, pay us money for nothing. Just look at Overwatch 2, right? Overwatch 2, the whole reason Overwatch 2 came out instead of just continuing with Overwatch 1 was the fact that they were like, oh yeah, we're going to come up with a campaign and a story, it's going to be thousands of hours or thousands of missions that you can play through and all this stuff. And what happened was they actually scrapped it a couple of weeks ago, and now Overwatch 2 is exactly like Overwatch 1, except for worse. It has all those in-game purchases and everything else going on with it, but it was just basically a massive cash grab and a massive spit in the face of their fan base, their customer base, and now you have this coming out, so things aren't looking good for Activision Blizzard. But I do believe this portion of it, at least, will kind of blow over relatively quickly. And, hashtag I stand with Nickmercs, as does pretty much everybody at this point, since it would be different if he came out and he said something kind of hateful. But again, all he said is they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. That was what he said to get all of this to just blow up. Something so incredibly tame, something that almost everybody believes in, is something that's what he said. And people just lost it. Not people, but, weirdos, and naturally a weirdo company. Do you think that this is going to continue for quite a while? Do you think it'll be summed up before the end of the day? Not even a 24-hour controversy? Let me know in the comments down below what you think there. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video out there. That's how we get the news out there, and it really helps our channel.